Alright, oh, okay, I'm coming through now. Interesting. Yeah, I guess nothing was coming through at first. So yeah, Nazi that walked into the bar. Tell me about that. Oh, I get you. Good one. These guys are holding their breath for a while. Jesus.
I'm so sorry. There was no break in front of that hatch when I left. I've been in prison for the last 3 months. Oh, I'm so gosh dang stupid. Shouldn't have assumed it was where I left me. Great job keeping us alive out there, Captain. Good to be home.
Yeah, I get it. I get you. Bar, like the machine gun nest. Oh, also, before I forget, Hitler's Thunderdome. Now I can finally show it. There it is. That was his big drawn up concept for what he would eventually, the city of Berlin, which he would eventually rename Germania. So yeah, it's pretty neat. All right, back to video games.
Hold me, I'm freezing.
Max,
Oh, feelings mutual, Max.
Put them down, Max. Gently.
Whoa! Stand down. This is Klaus. He's one of us. He was a Nazi before, but he's on our side now.
Where is he, Johnny?
How is this possible? We are in the very center of Berlin. You're hiding.
God,
in
it's so
plain sight.
quiet.
It's the last place they would look out.
Will they not hear us?
Best to keep your voice down, then, yeah?
Fuck me. B.J. Blazkowicz. I should have known only you would be dumb enough to do a daytime entry.
Man.
Glad to have you back, Bart.
Caroline, you're alive.
If you call shitting in a bag living, 3 pulverized vertebrae. You?
Head trauma, 4 inches of cast iron shrapnel right in the conch. Still in there.
Severed colon, septic shock, shattered pelvis.
Memory loss, flashbacks, 14 years in a loony bin.
Good to see you, William. So, what can you do?
For your collection, Jay.
wow. So happy to, see you, man. What's it been, 3 months since they hauled you away? Thought you were dead, actually. They send people off to that prison, and they, don't come back, you know? It's a trip. And you brought some new cats with you, actual, reinforcements. It's cool, man.
I am hearing interesting things out
So yeah,
there.
Jimi Hendrix
I
is in this
haven't
game.
used Project Whisper, but someone has borrowed it. Klaus, I believe it was. Can you find it and bring it to me, would you please, Captain? Now that you are here, I think we can do great things. Why don't you sit with me, Miss Anya?
And now the volume's
Listening
back.
on these frequencies. Anything out of London, make a note of the time and write down as much as you can. Here is pen and paper.
Can I do typewriter?
You know how to type.
Yes. My Parents thought I should learn.
Ah, for you to take dictation, prescriptions and such.
Not really. It was useful during my time at the University of London for my doctorate in archaeology. Then the Blitz came, and I had to go back home. I was only 16.
Well, Doctor, please assist me in figuring out what these damn Nazis are up to.
I love the base, like the home base. It's so cool. Just seeing all the
You can find Klaus on the second floor. He should have the folder for Project Whisper.
yeah, just seeing all the little stuff in the base. It's really nice. Map of Europe. Did you send me something? Oh no, you didn't send me. Oh, like in the base. Yeah, just oof, I'm dropping frames pretty bad here. Jeez. Is this stream going okay for you? I'm getting some. My OBS is telling me I'm dropping frames pretty hard. Is it running all right for you? Okay. Well, keep me posted, okay? I need to know if anything goes awry. Last light in England, Paris, September 17th, 1951. The stalwart resistance of the brave people of London has been quelled, claimed sources inside London after the August uprising, which had seemed like a turning point for the resistance fighters. The German tyrants unleashed their latest machine of oppression, a monstrous thing called the London Monitor. Eyewitness reports describe the fight as a massacre, with the cobblestone streets drenched in the blood of the brave resistance fighters, crushed or gunned down by the giant machine. German elite combat units then proceeded to move from block to block, systematically taking out the last remnants of freedom fighters. Ooh, here's all the bad guys. See Frau Engel there. Here's Berlin. Oh, map of Europe. I mean, there's not much to see. It's not battle plans or anything. It's just a map. Anyways, here let's read a few more articles. I love this part in the game. Liverpool, June 25th, 1945. The RAF suffered a major defeat yesterday at the battle over Liverpool. Though major losses were reported on both sides, the RAF were forced to retreat after losing more than 2/3 of their fighters. But even when faced with overwhelming odds, our brave boys in the skies continue to fight for king and country. The fighting spirit may be what constitutes the very essence of Englishness. Us Englishmen, we fight until the very end, said a corner shop owner trying to put out a fire raging inside St. Luke's Church, and I'll be damned if I will let some Jerry come here and tell us what to do. Was this man channeling the spirit of RAF pilot Jameson? Jameson, who was shot down above Liverpool yesterday, burst out of his burning wreckage, his body on fire and armed with only a pistol, and killed 4 German paratroopers before finally succumbing himself. Even as the enemy stands at our doorstep, the RAF will go to hell and back to kick them out of England. Jolly good, boys. Triumph in the East. Berlin, April 4th, 1947. It was a devastating defeat for the Red Army when the German flag was raised in the western side of the river Volga this morning. Funny alternate timeline, isn't it? In the statement to our reporter on site, Field Marshal Friedrich Ritter said that the victory is not only thanks to our hardworking and dedicated troops, but also the result of a new weapon that was deployed for the first time in battle. The Panzerhund's a mechanical, autonomous beast of war that cannot feel fear and cannot feel remorse. It is the purest form of killing machine, and it will tear the Russians apart limb by limb. Yeah, see, you guys probably needed more than some dogs to win that one. See, I'm still not buying this alternate history yet, because what they really needed was more food and coats. Nah, all we needed to win is just some fucking dogs. What the fuck's going on here? I keep saying I'm getting these massive frame drops. What the fuck? Whatever, we'll carry on. Keep saying I get these frame drops. Again, just let me know if there are any issues with visual quality or stuttering or buffering or anything like that. So this timeline splits off at 1945, where the Germans basically start winning. I don't know, maybe this alternate timeline splits off in 41 or 42. I don't know. Well, I don't know, like, the general idea of when this timeline splits. But basically, it's revealed in see, I don't want to spoil it though. But basically, they find out how to make super technology, and that's what helps them win the war. But how they get when they find and manufacture this super technology in the Wolfenstein universe to make this alternate timeline, that I do not know. It might be like, 42, 43. I can't really say. Yeah, let's just call it 43, all right? Just for the sake of not driving ourselves crazy. Regime crosses the Atlantic. Vancouver, January 3rd, 1947. Earlier this week, a German submarine was sunk in the Cabo Strait, just a few miles off the coast of Cape North. Today, hundreds of ships crossed the Atlantic, and the first German troops set foot upon Canadian soil. Now is the time to be brave, said the Prime Minister in an emergency radio broadcast. It's now or never. Our boys at the front line need your support to defend our homeland, to defend our freedom. That's unfortunate. Oh, jeez. Reds surrender. They didn't have the resources, and that was the problem. Is they stretched too thin by fighting in the east, because the Russians had insane manpower and a complete disregard for personal safety and technology that didn't fucking break if you dropped it in a puddle, which is like one of the big important things. There was a very interesting the difference between design philosophy for the Germans and the Russians, because the German technology could kill people a lot more efficiently than a lot of what the other forces had, but it required like 2 times or even 3 times the maintenance, and that definitely didn't help them for such a gritty and mud-spackled war. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons the Russian beat them, but yeah, they had a better supply chain. They had a much more fucking insane fighting force, and they were much bigger too. There's a lot about that. And then Germany just stretched themselves too thin. Sip. Anyways, let's read this article. Moscow, December 12th. 1946. The cold Russian winter bites hard, but one could not tell looking at the rosy, smiling faces of the victorious German army and the liberated, quote-unquote, Russian people. The last battle against the Red Army took place in Izhevsk, following their month-long campaign to seize the Russian capital. A campaign which, after numerous setbacks and hundreds of civilian casualties, caused the Russian people to turn against their own army. With nightly bomb raids by the German Air Force and the Red Army's military factories in the Ural region, it was merely a matter of time before the Russian forces would start to lose their morale. The murderous tyrant Joseph Stalin is yet to be found, but there are rumors circulating that he may have been assassinated by his own men. Funny alternate timeline. I mean, okay. Murderous tyrant Joseph Stalin, pretty on the mark, but still. I mean, the Russians were nothing if not, yeah. Yeah, you know what, you're right. That definitely would have happened, because it was only like 30 years prior they already had a fucking revolution. They'd be pretty willing to do it again. I was thinking, they were pretty dogmatic for the motherland, but they were also, communist. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, makes sense. Victory in Asia, Berlin, July 8th, 1948. Early Monday morning, a special assault team launched an attack on the last stronghold of the People's Liberation Army. Within hours, the Republic of China surrendered unconditionally. Experts commented that the Japanese government now have no choice but to give up their territorial claims in Asia. Sources close to Field Marshal claim that a plan is being drawn up for both China and Japan, which will transition the two countries into servant states with separate governments and militaries. These states will, of course, be supremely governed by the superior German Empire. This is an interesting one, because this feels very true to life, I guess you could say. Because you know that as soon as the Germans won, if they had won, they but what I'm saying, yeah, you're probably right. But what I'm saying is here, as soon as the Germans won, you know that they would have immediately subjugated Japan. It was always really funny to me that the Japanese allied with Germany. And I mean, they might not have known, but I mean, Germany at the time made its doctrine pretty well known that they wanted pure blooded Europeans to rule the world.
Leave me alone, all right? I don't know you. I'm not looking to make friends.
Okay. Extra. Prisoners escape Eisenwald, Berlin, October 13th, 1960. Early morning, a small group of prisoners escaped Eisenwald. The prisoners were described by the police as highly dangerous murderers, rapists, and degenerates. They advised the public to stay alert for people displaying deviant behavior and report anything that may help them track down those individuals. I like this article. This is funny to me.
To Klaus.
Also, they already have it cut out and pasted up on the wall that quickly. That's funny. Moskva Brenner, Moscow in Flames. Stockholm, March 16th, 1945. The Red Army were forced to retreat last night from a Moscow engulfed by flames following a week-long German bombing raid. The barrage of mortar fire heard throughout the night and well into the early Thursday morning seems to have obliterated what was left of the inner parts of the city. As of yet, has been no word on the whereabouts of either Joseph Stalin or his high command. Alright, a bit out of timeline. Finally, British tyranny comes to an end. Again, funny article. It's all just it's dark and it's comedic in a very dark sense, almost. London, June 21st, 1948. As if blessed by the sun, the German flag hung high this morning over Buckingham Palace to mark the end of the tyrannical monarchy which has plagued the English people for centuries. Field Marshal Gerolf Feigenbaum, who led the British invasion, cautioned that armed resistance is to be expected, but the majority of British people will soon realize that they have been fooled by the British government's warmongering leaders. Hang on again. Who started this war exactly? Warmongering. That sounds, Propaganda's so funny like that. Following the surrender, the whole of the Commonwealth now falls under German rule, and the remaining armies have been ordered to stand down. Interesting. Strange. Interesting. Jesus Christ, it says I'm dropping frames like fucking crazy. It's no good.
Are you deaf? I'm busy. Fuck off.
I'm sorry.
Jerk.
Wars of self-preservation, huh?
Well-maintained workbench.
That sounds frighteningly similar to a lot of what enraged young white nationalists are saying nowadays. It's kind of spooky, honestly. Although, I mean, not surprising, but, it's just funny how much of this rhetoric got passed down for them.
Max ist so schön die ganze Zeit nach dem Hammer. Hast du ihn gesehen?
You know about before going off on you like that's a force of habit.
No, it's Johnny Cowboy. It's not the first time it happens.
Yeah, perhaps you should consider removing them tattoos.
I will, in time. I was, as you Americans say, all wet when I got them, and I'm sorry to say it was a very proud moment of my life. I want removing them to be an even prouder moment. No more Nazis, no more tattoos.
So long as you don't get in the way of me killing Nazis, we'll see eye to eye. Caroline's looking for a document folder, Project Whisper.
Max doesn't speak English very well, but he does know Project Whisper. It's a risky business operation. He knows it will cost us to pull it out. Max doesn't like violence. He doesn't want to see anyone get hurt. Alles in Ordnung, mein Sohn. Wir werden für dich kämpfen.
Caroline said you borrowed the folder. Do you have it here?
I did take it 2 days ago, but I put it back. Go to the ground floor. The folder should be in the drawer in a desk in her room, where I left it. Make a looky-loo in Caroline's room. The folder should be inside a desk.
Must be Max's room. What is Max hiding in there? Is that the Project Whisper folder? Either need a crowbar or find a way around.
How's this looking for you? Any stutters, or is it still running at a consistent 60? I'm not muted. This isn't looking good. Oh boy. Are you muted? Shit. Yeah, it's looking like my so why the fuck don't they run Ethernet in here? It's so fucking dumb. Wi-Fi only. Fucking bullshit, dude. Should look for a better place next year. Die Kaffe, das blaue Boot. Fucking, it's so funny. Beatles, but in German. When Die Kaffer was formed by 4 Englishmen from Liverpool in Nazi-controlled Great Britain, they were faced with a choice: either start singing in German or face banning and detainment by the Nazi regime. Die Kaffer chose to adopt the times. They changed their name and learned how to sing in German. Currently, they're touring Europe to promote their latest Das Blaue Boot album. Rumor has it that they laced their innocuous pop music with hidden codes which subverted the original meaning of the lyrics. It's cute. More articles. Japan pushed back, another threat approaches. Chungking, March 7th, 1948. It was a proud moment for the Republic of China and the People's Liberation Army as the Japanese were pushed back into the Hubei province. Yet from the north, another dark menace approaches at a swift pace. The German army has overthrown the brave Russian Empire and is now moving towards China. During a rousing speech earlier today, the chairman spoke of his faith in the Chinese people. A unified China cannot be defeated, he said. A unified China cannot be conquered. A unified China will not surrender. How sad. America surrenders. Washington, December 24th, 1948. Speaking to the American people in the falling snow on Christmas Eve, the President of the United States declared the government's total surrender to the German army. The announcement comes just days after the atomic bomb was dropped in New York. This final act of violence may have saved millions of lives that would have resulted from a land invasion of America, said the German leader in a press statement following the announcement. Oof. Oof. Yikes. I applaud the president for taking such a brave decision. After the president's speech, a spectacular show was put on by the invading troops parading down the streets of Washington to the roaring sound of German jet fighters passing overhead. Even more spectacular were the massive mechanical dogs known as Panzerhunden, or armored dogs, hulking over the crowds. Eesh. Grim. Paris, December 21st, 1948. The largest bomb ever imagined was dropped 13 hours ago in New York City, largely decimating Manhattan and killing over 200,000 people. It is an atomic bomb, said our great leader in a radio broadcast speech to the public, 20,000 times more powerful than the biggest bomb ever created before. But more than a bomb, it's a warning to the American people. Lots of shit to read today. America rises from the ashes. The American spirit rises in the shadow of the mushroom-shaped cloud that was produced by Germany's evil atom bomb when it hit New York. Cells of freedom fighters assembled across the country and are taking up arms. Through targeted attacks on German VIPs and bombings of crucial military installations, the American resistance is making it very difficult for the invaders to remain in control. Reports claim the German invaders have become so desperate they are shipping elite anti-rebel units from China to prevent the insurrection from spreading. Eyewitness accounts also describe mass executions of civilians as punishment for attacks performed by freedom fighters. The liberation of America has begun. Washington, January 7, 1949. The Honorable German Peace Troops embarked on a nationwide victory tour this week. The goal of this operation is to liberate the oppressed American people and protect them from dangerous insurgent elements. All remaining American military personnel are advised to stand down and report to the nearest German checkpoint. Once there, they will be issued a labor card assigning them to work on rebuilding the country according to the superior cultural standards of the new regime. God, this is so fucking depressing. Editorial: Germany has betrayed us. Rome, October 13th, 1949. And so we must face the bitter truth. We, the Italian people, have been fooled into thinking that our northern ally would be our country's salvation and a collaborator in rebuilding Italy to its former glory. Reports from the north are coming in describing German tanks and infantry turning against our soldiers and attacking our own people. Witnesses describe horrible scenes of whole villages burnt and plundered. We are now just days away from a complete invasion, and our weak government is incapable of doing anything about it. I advise all Italians not to surrender. Do not bow down to the will of the invaders. Rise and take up arms. Do whatever you can to fight back the tyranny. Rise for freedom. Again, very fucking sad. Tragic. Benevolent liberators guard China's borders. Shanghai, October 25th, 1953. Thanks to the ingenuity of German engineers, the Great Wall of China has been reinforced and upgraded by our benevolent German liberators. Hundreds of powerful automatic flak cannons have been installed along the wall, guarding the airspace from any potential invaders from the Mongolian territories. Elite German troops have also been stationed from one end to the other to guard the border. This is a great act of generosity bestowed by our benevolent liberators, symbolically marking the beginning of a new era of peace in Asia. God, dude, what the fuck? This is just making me sad. America loses naval supremacy. Tokyo, August 20th, 1946. The Americans are on their knees, Field Marshal Franz Gustav Byers told the gathered reporters during today's press conference. The superior German submarine fleet, accompanied by its loyal Japanese allies, has helped Germany achieve a major victory in the Pacific, with more than half the American fleet destroyed at the Battle of Leyte Gulf alone. Oof.
Oh, it's so good to be home, Captain. You know, I think I might need to catch some Z's. Yep. I'll see you when I wake up, okay? Well, that seems to be in order.
Looking good. Hey, got it. Leyte Gulf.
Dreaming. Strange dreams. The killing never stops. Till I die.
I think it's playing a lot into the historical misconceptions about the Reich, partially just because it makes it more digestible. Oof, yikes, Jesus. Big buffer. That's no good. I wasn't having these kinds of difficulties with the Rainbow Six stream the other night. I wonder what's going on now. That's no good. Here, tell you what. I'm gonna finish this segment, save, quit, restart the computer real quick, and then reopen the stream.
Stop!
Hey, dog food. Oof, that was rough. Ah, god damn it. I'll have to try that one again, but right now, I'm just going to shut down. I'm going to turn the stream off real quick. And then I'm going to restart the computer and try some stuff, and then we'll reopen the stream in like a few minutes. Just give me a moment.